Think back to the moment you were born. You were just a small baby, new to the world, without any words, memories, or ideas. You didn't yet know who you were, or what life would bring. But while you were still crying your first cry, or wrapped in a soft blanket, someone was already calling you by a name, your name. Maybe your parents had already picked it out months before. Maybe they argued about it. Or maybe they chose it just minutes after seeing you. But here's the question that most people never ask. Why that name? Why not another one? To most people, choosing a name seems simple. Some parents name their child after a grandparent. Others name their child after a favorite singer, actor, or sports star. Some flip through books, search online, or wait for a feeling that tells them a certain name is right. In some cases, parents dream of a name before the baby is even born. Others wait until the moment of birth and say, "This baby looks like a Lucas," or "She feels like a Maya." On the surface, it looks like a random decision. But many spiritual thinkers believe something else is going on, something bigger. What if the name you were given wasn't just picked by your parents, but also by the universe? What if it was already meant for you? There's a story told in many spiritual circles. It says that before a soul is born into the world, it already knows its name. The soul travels from the spirit world into the body, and during that journey, it carries the sound or the vibration of the name it will have on earth. That vibration is like a whisper. Sometimes, parents hear that whisper as a thought, a dream, or a sudden knowing. When they speak the name, it feels right, not because they chose it, but because they remembered it. The soul and the parents meet in the middle. It may sound strange, but many parents have had moments like this. A mother might wake up from a dream with a name in her mind. A father might suddenly feel sure about a name for no clear reason. Some even report hearing the name being given to them in a vision or during meditation. These moments seem small, but they might be signals from something unseen, a deeper intelligence guiding the choice. In some cultures, this idea is not new at all. For example, in certain Native American traditions, children are named based on signs that appear around the time of birth, like an animal sighting, a weather change, or a dream the parents had. The name is not just a label. It's a message, a symbol of what that child might become. In Africa, some tribes wait several days after a baby is born before choosing the name. They believe the name should come from the baby's spirit or through a message from the ancestors. In India, naming ceremonies are often connected to astrology. The child's name may start with a letter based on the time and place of their birth, which is believed to shape their future. So maybe your name isn't just something your parents liked. Maybe it carries something deeper. Maybe it has roots in your soul's path, your mission, or your purpose in this life. Have you ever felt like your name fit you perfectly? Or maybe you felt the opposite, like your name didn't match who you really are? These feelings might not be random either. They could be signs that you're in tune or out of tune with the energy of your name. There's also the story of people who were almost given a different name. One letter away, one day away. Maybe your parents were going to name you Emma, but changed it to Ella at the last minute. Maybe you were almost a Jack, but became a Jason. These small changes can lead to very different lives. Why? Because every name has its own sound, feeling, and energy. Imagine the butterfly effect of your name. Every time someone says it, they are calling out a sound connected to your life. That sound enters your ears, your heart, and your mind. You grow up hearing it, feeling it, owning it, and over time, it becomes part of your story. There's a hidden mystery in that moment, the moment your name was chosen. It may seem like a regular decision, but in truth, it may have been one of the most powerful spiritual moments in your life. Because from that moment on, every time someone calls your name, they are speaking to your soul, not just your body. Some believe that even in the spirit world, names exist, but not like names on earth. They are made of light, sound, or vibration. When a soul is ready to enter a new life, it chooses a name that can hold the energy it needs to complete its journey. That name is then whispered into the hearts of the parents, and when they say it out loud, the soul smiles because it knows, this is where I belong. Your name might seem simple, but it holds the memory of that beginning, the very first word that connected you to this world. So the next time you hear your name, pause for a second. Let it echo. Let it remind you of something deeper, the secret moment you were named and the power that came with it. Long before we had smartphones, birth certificates, or baby name websites, names already held power. In fact, in the ancient world, names were seen as sacred. They were more than words, they were keys. Keys to the soul, to the future, and sometimes even to the unseen world. A name was not just something to call a person. It was something to understand them, to protect them, and even to guide them. Let's travel back to ancient Egypt. Names were so powerful there that they were believed to live on after death. Egyptians had multiple names, a birth name, a secret name, and a name known only to the gods. They believed that knowing a person's true name gave you power over them. That's why some pharaohs kept their real name hidden and only used titles. A name wasn't just an identity, it was a part of the soul. In ancient Egypt, one of the worst things that could happen to a person was to have their name erased. If your name was removed from history, it was like erasing your spirit. You could not enter the afterlife. You would be forgotten forever. So names were written on tombs, on monuments, and in the Book of the Dead to make sure the soul would live on. Now look at ancient Greece. There, names often came from the gods or described a person's strength, nature, or fate. Names like Alexander meant defender of men. Sophia meant wisdom. These names were not random. They told the story of who the person was, or who they could become. Names were a wish, a blessing, or a calling. In India, names are still deeply tied to meaning and destiny. In many Hindu traditions, a baby's name is chosen through a sacred ritual called Namkaran. This ceremony often takes place days, or even weeks after birth. A priest may read the stars and birth charts to find the first letter of the name. That letter is believed to align the baby with their spiritual path. Every name has a mantra, a sound energy. So saying a person's name is like calling out their spiritual energy. In the Bible and other religious texts, names often came with a purpose. Think about Abraham. His original name was Abram, but when he stepped into his divine mission, his name was changed. Same with Sarah, Jacob, and many others. The name shift marked a new chapter, a new identity given by God. In this way, a name wasn't just a word. It was a sign of transformation. In African tribal cultures, names carry deep meaning too. A child might be named based on the day they were born, the weather, the events surrounding the birth, or even the hopes of the parents. In some places, children are given spiritual names in a private ceremony, kept secret to protect them from harm. These names are not shared lightly, because names are believed to hold powerful energy. Indigenous tribes across North and South America also treated names with deep respect. Some children received their names through visions or after a rite of passage. A name might come after a dream or a powerful moment in nature. The name would often reflect a quality, like running deer or sky watcher, showing what the person's spirit was close to. In China, names are chosen with great care, often involving experts in numerology, astrology, and poetry. Each character in a Chinese name carries a symbolic meaning, and the way it sounds is considered carefully. The name must balance yin and yang, carry good fortune, and sound pleasing. A child's name is a wish for a good life. Even in Europe, in older times, names were often chosen for their meanings. Many names we hear today, like Grace, Victor, Hope, Leo, Rose, came from Latin, Greek, or Old Germanic roots. They were chosen for the message they carried. Victor meant winner. Grace meant kindness or divine favor. Leo meant lion, a symbol of courage. In all these cultures, names weren't just tools. They were stories, symbols, seeds planted into a child's soul. The name was a compass, showing the path ahead. So what about your name? You might think your name was chosen just because it sounded nice. But have you ever looked up the meaning of your name? You might be surprised. Many names carry deep meanings hidden inside them. Ancient roots in languages like Latin, Sanskrit, Hebrew, Greek, or Arabic. Even common names have surprising histories. And sometimes, a name's meaning is exactly what you needed in your life, even if your parents never knew it at the time. For example, someone named Daniel might discover it means God is my judge. A person named Arya might find out it means air or song in Italian and lioness in Hebrew. Even if your name is rare or modern, it might come from a word, a feeling, or a root that holds a secret connection to your soul. And if you were given a name from your culture, it's even more likely to carry a blessing, a wish, or a legacy. Names passed down through generations often hold the stories of ancestors, warriors, healers, and dreamers. When you speak that name, you're not just saying a word, you're calling on history. Even nicknames and shortened names have energy. Sometimes the nickname becomes more you than the original name. That's because you and your name grow together. You shape each other. You change each other. you're connected. So the next time you hear your name, or say someone else's name, remember, you're not just speaking a sound. You're calling out a message, a story, and maybe even a power that's older than time. Have you ever stopped and wondered why some names just feel powerful? Or why some names seem soft, gentle, or mysterious? Maybe you've met a person whose name matched their personality so well, it felt almost too perfect. Or perhaps you've met someone whose name and character didn't match at all, and you felt surprised. That's not just a funny coincidence. More and more, researchers, psychologists, and spiritual thinkers believe that the name you carry may actually shape who you become. Let's start with something simple. Think about the first thing someone usually learns about you, your name. Before they know your voice, your laugh, your dreams, or your past, they hear your name. That name creates a picture in their mind, sometimes even without them knowing it. And that picture shapes how they talk to you, treat you, and remember you. For example, studies have shown that people often make quick judgments based on names. A name can sound strong, creative, kind, or serious. Some names make people think of trust, leadership, or beauty. Others may sound modern, traditional, exotic, or even strange. Whether fair or not, names come with associations, and those associations can change the way you're treated from the very beginning. But here's where it gets deeper. When people treat you a certain way because of your name, you begin to act in a way that matches their expectations. Over time, that can shape your personality. Imagine a boy named Max. People hear that name and think of someone bold, maybe sporty or confident. From a young age, Max gets treated as if he's that kind of person, even before he knows who he really is. So he starts acting more confidently. He speaks louder. He plays more sports. Not because he was born that way, but because the name Max came with an invisible costume, and he learned to wear it. Now think of a girl named Grace. Her name brings up feelings of elegance, calm, and kindness. People speak to her softly, expect her to be sweet and helpful. She starts to smile more, stay quiet, say thank you often. Not because someone told her to, but because her name gently pulled her in that direction. It might sound small, but it happens every day, in schools, on playgrounds, in families, and later in jobs. A name is like a silent teacher. It trains the world how to see you, and it teaches you how to see yourself. There's even a term for this idea in psychology. It's called the name-letter effect. People are often drawn to things that match their own name, even without noticing it. For example, someone named Laura might like the letter L more than others. A man named Dennis is more likely to become a dentist than someone with a different name. These patterns show up again and again. It's like the sound and shape of your name becomes a mirror you live inside. In one famous study, people were asked to rate the success of students based on their names alone. Names that sounded strong or wealthy were rated higher, even though the people didn't know anything about the students. In another study, job applications with certain names received more callbacks than others, even though the resumes were exactly the same. Just the name changed the response. Of course, this doesn't mean your name controls you. It just means your name has influence, like a wind that blows softly in one direction. If you're aware of it, you can choose how to respond. You can let it guide you, or choose to walk your own path. But what's even more interesting is how people start to grow into their names. Over time, they begin to reflect what their name represents, even if they didn't mean to. A shy child with a bold name might try harder to be brave. A child with a soft, poetic name might grow to love art or beauty. The name becomes more than a label. It becomes a shape that holds the person inside. There are even spiritual teachings that say your name can awaken certain parts of your soul. Just hearing it over and over becomes like a chant. Every time someone calls you, they're saying a word that connects to your inner world. That's why it matters what you're called and how you feel about it. Some people feel completely at home in their names. Others feel like their name doesn't fit them at all. If you've ever felt like your name didn't reflect your true self, you're not alone. That disconnect can make people feel like they're wearing the wrong clothes or living in a story that doesn't belong to them. That's why some people choose to change their name later in life. Not to escape their past, but to step into a version of themselves that feels more real. In many spiritual paths, a name change is part of awakening. When someone becomes a monk, a priest, or a spiritual teacher, they're often given a new name. This new name reflects their deeper purpose, like peaceful heart, strong light, or wisdom river. These names are not just pretty words. They are invitations, a call to become what the name means. But even if you don't change your name, you can still explore its meaning and energy. You can ask yourself, what does my name make me feel? Does it reflect who I am? Does it bring me strength, peace, pride? Or do I carry it because I was told to? And maybe the answer isn't simple. Maybe your name has shaped you in ways you're only now beginning to notice. Maybe your voice says it differently now than it did when you were younger. Maybe there's more in it than you ever imagined. Remember, your name is one of the first gifts you were given, and it's one of the most powerful. Whether you whisper it, write it, or hear someone call it from across a room, your name is a part of your story. It holds your past, dances in your present, and can even open the door to your future. So take a moment and say your name out loud. Just once. Feel how it lands in your chest, how it moves through your breath. That sound is not just a word. It's you, and it might be shaping you more than you think. Let's slow down for a moment and ask a powerful question. What is your name, really? Not just the letters, not just the spelling, but the sound, the vibration, the energy. You may not have thought of it this way before, but everything in life is energy. Every word, every sound, every thought, all of it carries a frequency. Just like music, your name has a tone. And every time it's spoken, it sends that tone out into the world and back into you. Close your eyes for a second and speak your name softly. Feel how it moves through your body. The way your tongue touches your teeth. The way your breath pushes through your throat. That's not random. That's your personal vibration. And it may carry more meaning than you ever realized. Ancient cultures believed this deeply. In Hinduism, for example, there is a sacred sound, Om. It is said to be the sound of the universe, the vibration of creation itself. People chant it not just for peace or focus, but because they believe the vibration of that sound connects them with divine energy. The same is true for names. In many spiritual teachings, names are spells. Every time a name is spoken, it casts a kind of energy. It brings that person's essence into the space. Think about how different names feel. Say the name Luna, soft, smooth, moon-like. Now say Blaze, hot, sharp, full of fire. One name feels like water, the other like fire. They create an emotional response without you even thinking about it. That's vibration. That's energy. In Kabbalah, the ancient Jewish mystical tradition, names are studied for their hidden meanings and vibrations. The letters in a name are believed to connect to different forces in the universe. The combination of those letters creates a unique spiritual signature. That's why, in Kabbalah, changing a name is not taken lightly. It can shift your entire path. Even numerology, a practice found in many parts of the world, looks at the numbers connected to each letter of your name. In numerology, every letter has a number, and every number holds a vibration. By adding up the numbers in your full name, practitioners say they can discover your life path, your strengths, and even your karmic lessons. This may sound mystical, but think about this in everyday life. Why do we say certain names out loud and feel comforted? Why do others make us feel alert, curious, or even nervous? There's a reason why people say, that name has a nice ring to it. We feel names as much as we hear them. That's because sound is not just noise. It's movement through space, and through you. Some believe that before we are born, we exist as energy or spirit. And in that state, we have a name. Not a human name made of letters, but a vibrational name. A sound the soul responds to. When we are born, our earthly name is like an echo of that original sound. The closer it is to our soul's vibration, the more right it feels. And when people say it, it brings us back to our truth. Have you ever heard your name said by someone who really sees you? Maybe a parent, a friend, or someone who loves you. Somehow, when they say your name, it feels different. It hits deeper. That's not just emotion. That's resonance. Their voice, their intention, and your name align in a way that creates a true energetic moment. Now flip the idea. Have you ever heard your name used in a cold or harsh tone? Suddenly, it feels uncomfortable. It doesn't sit right. That's because names hold power, and the way we say them matters. A name with love becomes healing. A name with anger can create pain. It's all in the vibration. This is why some spiritual teachers suggest that you say your own name with care, that you even try to chant it or sing it during meditation. Because when you say your name with intention, slowly, gently, you activate the energy inside it. It becomes a reminder of your presence, a call back to your center. There are also names that carry high vibration letters, sounds like L, S, M, and A. These letters are often seen in names that feel light, peaceful, or strong. Harder consonants like K, T, and Z can carry sharp, bold energy. Of course, every name is a balance. But the sound pattern, how it moves through your mouth, says a lot about how it moves through the world. Even your last name holds energy. It carries the vibration of your ancestors, your family line, and your past. Some people feel connected to their last name, as if it gives them strength, history, or belonging. Others may feel disconnected from it, especially if there's pain in the family past. That feeling matters too, because vibration isn't just about sound. It's also about emotion, how something feels to your heart. Some people are even drawn to others who share similar name vibrations. They might not know why, but the energy feels familiar. In love, friendship, or business, name vibrations can attract and repel, just like energy always does. In modern sound healing, certain tones are used to bring the body and mind into balance. Singing bowls, tuning forks, and chanting are used to calm the nervous system. If a single tone can bring peace or healing, imagine what your name, a complex mix of tones, might be doing every time it's spoken. And if that's true, then maybe your name is not just a word, maybe it's your personal mantra. A sound that, when spoken with awareness, brings you into alignment. So here's something to try. Go somewhere quiet. Sit still. Close your eyes. Say your full name slowly, 3 times. Listen to how it sounds. Listen to how it feels. Does it bring up peace? Power? A memory? A dream? Whatever comes, trust it. Because your name is more than letters. It is a living sound, carrying a vibration that's been with you from your first breath. And maybe, just maybe, it's trying to tell you something. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and saying your name out loud. Now imagine saying a different name, one you've never had, but that suddenly feels more like you than your real one. What would that mean? Could a name, just a word, really change your life? For many people, the answer is yes. All over the world, people have changed their names, not just for fun or fame, but because something deep inside them told them it was time. Sometimes they felt trapped in an old identity. Other times, they felt called towards something bigger. And when they made the change, their lives began to shift in powerful ways. Why does this happen? Let's begin with a simple truth. Your name is a container. It holds memories, meanings, emotions, and energy. From childhood, your name is tied to every moment you've lived, the praise, the pain, the joy, and the shame. It's written on school papers, whispered in love, shouted in anger. Over time, it becomes a mirror, one that reflects who you think you are. But mirrors can become dusty. Some names begin to feel like cages, especially if you've grown into a new version of yourself that your old name doesn't fit anymore. Think of someone who was bullied as a child and only heard their name used to tease them. Or someone who grew up in a strict household where their name was always tied to control or silence. That person might grow up, heal, and become strong, but every time they hear their name, they feel pulled back into the past. The name becomes a chain. In that case, changing the name can feel like freedom, like taking back control of your identity. For others, the desire to change their name comes from a spiritual awakening. They begin to feel that their current name doesn't match their soul. This often happens after deep healing, a major life event, or a moment of truth. They feel pulled toward a name that represents peace, strength, or purpose. That's why monks, spiritual teachers, and mystics often receive new names when they enter a new path. A man may become Ravi, meaning sun, as he begins a life of light. A woman may become Ananda, meaning bliss, as she leaves behind pain. The new name is more than a label. It's a direction, a spiritual compass. Even in pop culture, we see this pattern. Celebrities often change their names to something that matches the image they want to share with the world. Sometimes it's for style, but often it's a full transformation, a way to let go of the old and step into a new power. Think of how Stefani Germanotta became Lady Gaga, or how Reginald Dwight became Elton John. The names carried new energy, and their lives followed. In some cases, people don't change their full name, but just a part of it. They might shorten it, use a nickname, or shift the spelling. Even small changes can feel like a fresh start. A woman named Catherine might become Kate and suddenly feel lighter, freer, more confident. Why? Because the sound and feel of the name matches her new self. But is there proof that changing your name actually changes your life? Believe it or not, studies have shown that people often feel happier, more powerful, and more in control after a name change, especially if it's tied to healing or personal growth. Therapists have seen this in trauma survivors who take a new name to begin again. Coaches have seen it in people chasing dreams, who choose a name that holds their vision. And let's not forget people who change their names for cultural or gender identity reasons. For many, this is not just a preference, it's a declaration of truth, a way to stand in their real skin, to be seen, heard, and respected for who they truly are. Still, changing your name is not a magic trick. It doesn't erase the past or fix all problems overnight, but it can act as a bridge from the old you to the new one, from the name you were given to the name you've chosen. So how do you know if you should change your name? There's no single answer, but here are some signs. You feel disconnected or uncomfortable when people say your name. You've outgrown the story your name holds. You keep hearing or feeling drawn to another name, again and again. You want to begin a new chapter, one where your name matches your inner growth. You feel a strong pull to choose a name that aligns with your culture, truth, or spirit. If any of these sound familiar, it doesn't mean you have to change your name, but it might mean it's time to listen more closely to what your name is saying or not saying. Some people try living with a new name for a while before making it official. They might use it online, introduce it to close friends, or say it during quiet moments. They listen to how it feels, how it lands in their body. That's the key, the feeling. If a name lights something up inside you, that's a sign. And remember, there's no right or wrong here. Some people are perfectly aligned with their birth name and love it forever. Others change it once, twice, or many times. Some use different names in different spaces. One for work, one for friends, one for spirit. All of this is okay, because the truth is, you are the one who gives your name its power. Whether you were named by parents, by chance, or by spirit, you carry the right to make your name your own. You carry the power to shape it, or to reshape yourself around it. So ask yourself, if I could choose any name today, what would it be? What would it sound like? What energy would it carry? You don't have to answer now, but keep the question close. Because in the end, your name is your echo in the world. It's the word that holds your past and can shape your future. By now, we've looked at how names are chosen, how they carry meaning, how they shape personality, and how they hold energy. But in this final part, we go deeper. Deeper than letters, deeper than sound, deeper than any name you've ever been called. Because the truth is, your real name might not be the one on your birth certificate. Let that sink in. We live in a world where names are printed, filed, and stored in databases. We sign them on forms, use them for IDs, email addresses, and social media. They follow us through schools, jobs, hospitals, banks. And yet, the name that's used in all those places might still be missing something. It might not carry the full story of who you are. There is a name that no one else may know. A name that's never been typed, never been spoken out loud. A name that exists only in the deepest part of you. Some call it your true name. Others call it your soul name, your spirit name, or your inner name. It's not always made of letters. It's made of feeling, of memory, of energy. Have you ever had a moment when someone called your name and it didn't feel like you? Maybe you were in a room full of people and someone said your name, but it felt like they were calling a version of you that no longer existed. Like they were calling your shell, not your soul. That's a clue. A whisper that there may be another name inside you. One that fits who you truly are, beyond roles, labels, or expectations. Your true name is the name your soul recognizes. It's the name that matches your essence, your real nature, not the mask you wear in the world. And sometimes, you don't even need to know this name in words. You just need to feel it. It lives in the way you move, the way you speak when you're not pretending, the way you breathe when you're calm, the way your eyes look when you're lost in something you love. That's your soul's name expressing itself. Some people discover this name in dreams. Others hear it in meditation, prayer, or in a moment of deep silence. Some feel it come to them during a life-changing experience, a birth, a loss, a great love, a near-death moment. When the layers of the world fall away, something speaks. A sound, a symbol, a knowing. And sometimes, your true name doesn't come all at once. It reveals itself slowly. In pieces. In feelings. You start to feel drawn to certain words, sounds, or symbols. A nickname that feels strangely right. A name from another culture or time that keeps showing up. A word that makes your heart rise when you hear it. These are breadcrumbs. In many traditions, people go on inner journeys to find this name. In some Native American cultures, it's common for a person to receive different names during different stages of life. A child name, a warrior name, a spirit name. Each name reflects who they are becoming. It's a reminder that we are always growing, always changing. In the Bible, names changed with purpose. Abram became Abraham. Saul became Paul. Each time, the new name marked a transformation, a new mission, a deeper truth. So maybe the question isn't, what is my name? Maybe the question is, who am I now, and what name matches that truth? Think about your life. Think about all the versions of you that have lived inside your skin. The child version, the teen version, the one who fell in love, the one who was lost, the one who found their way. Each version had a voice, and maybe each version had a name. But there's one version of you that's always been there, the one underneath it all, the quiet observer, the peaceful watcher, the soul. That part of you may have always known its name. You may have felt it in moments of deep joy, when time disappeared and you were completely alive, or in moments of sadness, when a strange peace washed over you. In those moments, you weren't trying to be anything. You weren't living through your outer name. You were just being. And in that being, your true name was present. Now, does this mean you should go out and change your name right now? Not necessarily. Some people do. Others don't need to. The point isn't to escape your current name. It's to look deeper into it. Ask yourself, what part of me does my name reflect? Is there more of me that's still unnamed? If I could name myself today from my soul, what would I choose? This isn't about being dramatic. It's about being honest. Because at the end of the day, your name is a tool, a sound, a symbol. It's useful in this world, but you are more than a symbol. You are an energy that no word can fully capture. You are a soul having a human experience. Some believe that when we leave this world, we remember our true name, the name that the stars know, the name that the trees, rivers, and wind remember, the name you had before you were born, the name you will carry after. So if you've ever felt like your name didn't quite fit, maybe it wasn't supposed to. Maybe it was only the beginning, a chapter, a mask, a path to something deeper. And maybe, just maybe, your true name is waiting for you. Not to be found outside, but to be remembered inside. It might come in a whisper. It might rise like a song. Or it might already be echoing in your heart every time you speak your name with love. So pause, take a breath, and listen. Somewhere inside you, your true name is speaking.